Good afternoon. My name is Luz Rodriguez, and I will be presenting you my persuasive speech. My audience for today will be my two sons, Carmelo and Jesus. Okay, so I will be speaking today about forgetting child syndrome and also hot car deaths. We have seen in a lot of news incidents and accidents in which, parents have left their children in the car by accident and they have passed away in the worst case scenario. In other scenarios, they have been saved by other people that have noticed that this parent had left by accident their child and they were able to notify the authorities and also get out the child out of the car as soon as possible. We might be thinking, how could this have happened? How could a parent forget to make sure that their kid is not in the back seat? Or how can a parent just, for some reason, forget at all that they have their children with them? This actually can happen, and the reason that it can happen is because the back seat, the children car seat, is actually when they're little, they have it facing it towards the child's face is facing towards the seat of the back road. So if a parent just is not used to taking the child to the daycare, and for some reason that parent that day had to take the child to the daycare, the parent maybe just put the baby in the car seat, kept on their way. They probably started answering phone calls because of work or whatever the reason it is. Deprivation of sleep. When we are parents, we do suffer of a lot of deprivation of sleep, especially if you have a colic baby. so, and if that is not normally the routine of that parent, it does happen. Accidents do happen, and there's millions and one reason why it does happen. Sometimes when an auto drive, many people that I have known that have worked in the medical field like I do sometimes tells me I was so tired that I don't even know how I got to my house. It's like the car was in auto mode. And those situations like that can only create an accident of leaving a child in the back seat and that child dying of heat, but also can create an accident because you're in auto gear. You're not paying attention to absolutely nothing. It's just your body doing what it has to be done. So, forgetting baby syndrome or hot car death or or hot car death is death by hypothermia. This happens when the temperature is extremely high and it's exposed and the body's actually exposed to high temperatures. So that is actually why the child actually passed away, because of the high temperature, and then the body's exposed to those high temperatures and they get hypothermia. Young children body temperature raises 3 to 5 times faster than an adult because they're so little. Um, Laws reinforcing leaving a hot car laws in reinforcing leaving in a hot car varies. So even though these incidents does happen, the laws varies in different states. Only 19 actually have only 19 states actually have laws that it would be like child endangerment, and 15 states are actually thinking about it or trying to reinforce about these laws. Some organizations actually think that these laws actually do not do absolutely anything at all to guarantee the safety of the child, because these deaths they're made actually by accidents. It's not something that a parent wants to do or ever encounter by that way. In April 2021, Federal Communication Commission granted waivers allowing manufacturers and automakers to install radars inside the cars. So these radars are installed in the cars, but the thing is that the only way these radars are actually installed on cars are on cars that are 2020 or 2021. So are the newer versions of cars. So old versions of cars do not have these radars installed that it will detect and it will let a parent know, hey, your child's in the back of the seat. There's a child unattained inside the car. So these are actually some of my visuals. On this one, it says U.S. child hot car death over the last 2 decades. This graph is from Carson Law Firm. Shows the number of children who have died on hot cars death. Texas leads the nation since 1990. More than 120 babies and children have died from being left in the car. As from June 7, 9 children have died in hot car death. 2 of those deaths occurred in Texas. On this one is a pie chart. It says hot car death victims by ages. So in this pie chart, it shows that the victims that actually die, or children actually die on hot cars death, or forgotten child syndrome, it's children that are younger than 1 year old. And it shows that 32% of the hot car deaths are children less than 1 year old. 55% of hot car deaths are children 1 to 3 years old. And 13% of hot car deaths are children under than 3 years old. So the younger the child, the more of these situations happened. In this graph, according to CNA, and I grabbed it from the CNA's news, it says that it shows between 1998 and 2007, at least 90% of reported hot car death in the USA occurred between April and September, which is actually the hottest month of the year. So the American Academy of Pediatrics actually showed a list and put a list on the website to try to avoid these situations. And one of them is that if you don't have a car that is 2020 or 2021, what you can do when you have a child is leave your purse and your keys and your phones, your house keys and your phone in the back seat where the child is. So when you get out of the car, you know that you have to, go to the back seat to look for your things. And that way you remind yourself, okay, I have the baby. Another thing is when you park your car, make sure that your car is locked. Why? Because little children, they don't tend to understand that a hot car is a dangerous place to play hide and go seek. And they see it as a way of like, the car is open, they will not find me there. I can hide. And that's when bad situations happen. Another thing they said is that if you have a child care, to have a communication with your child care, that if your child is not in the place where they're taking care of your child more than 10 minutes, that is due time to go ahead and call you and be like, where's the baby? The baby hasn't got here and we were just concerned. So these are some of the lists that says that the pediatricians actually put out there, the Academy of Pediatricians actually put out there. So we could actually avoid these type of situations. These deaths are very tragically, not only because of the loss of a child, but also because of the parents. And can be avoided. It can be avoided if we're more alert, more present in the moment, and we actually make sure that, Even though that day was not our day to take the child to child care or with us, we make it a habit of checking right after you get out of the car. Just check. Just have that 5 minutes or 5 seconds just to go around the car and check your car. It avoids lots of tragedies and it avoids lots of situations. I hope you enjoyed my persuasive presentation. Have a great evening.